Hi, this is Crystal. And in my previous video, I chatted about how pain reveals your identity. I mentioned when you're hurt or disappointed that the area of your life that really aches often points to something deeply important to you, like relationships, respect, belonging, purpose. And pain shows you where your heart is really anchored. So, an example of this is that when you feel devastated about a betrayal, for example, that will reveal to you just that how much you value faithfulness, loyalty, and trust. So, today I want to speak about that actually, about what if you've been betrayed and the pain that betrayal brings. How do you actually heal from that? It's a very deep and tender aspect of pain. So I want to honor how personal and raw that pain can actually be. And healing from betrayal isn't a quick process. Betrayal cuts deep and it cuts to the core of trust, love, and identity. So healing means rebuilding those very foundations layer by layer. Each of us have been betrayed by someone in our lives. But for those whose heart is anchored in love and trust, where your values in love and trust are so high, I'm one of those, then you can actually be devastated by this in your life. But there is actually hope. And because when you acknowledge that these values of love and faithfulness and trust are one of God's top values, and that it's something divine that you actually carry, it's you can be assured that there is a way to heal these wounds and you don't have to live in hardness and try to change yourself. So one of the very first important things to realize about this pain of betrayal is that you need to acknowledge the wound fully. You can't minimize what happened. You need to really acknowledge it, feel it, and not just suppress it. And one of the ways that I found very effective to do this is to speak it out or write it out. For me, writing it out was very, very helpful. It's a way to externalize the pain instead of carrying it silently. I would journal and I'd write dear God letters, and I'd be quite open and write about exactly how that person had hurt me, what they'd done, how I'd felt so betrayed. And, you know, I took comfort from this because one of my most favorite verses in the Bible actually comes from Psalm 34, verse 18, and it says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted, and he saves those who are crushed in spirit." And I just, in my experience, it's been that God always listens. Some people you can share your heart with them, but they don't really listen because they've got pains of their own. And, they might be very quick to share their story with you, and it's all good and well. But sometimes you don't feel heard. And by me writing my Dear God letters and journaling that way, I really felt heard. And I've experienced God to be different to people listening, um, because he doesn't judge. So the second point is you need to actually surrender the pain. And what I'd do is I'd just hold the pain. I'd hold it up to God. But if you don't believe in God, just surrender that pain. That's a very necessary step. Just hold it up and be prepared to let it go. But you don't have to be in a hurry just yet. The third thing is to separate the fact that the person's choice is separate from your worth. So the person who betrayed you, their choice to betray you is separate from your worth. One of the deepest wounds of betrayal is the lie that you weren't enough. The truth is, betrayal reveals the betrayer's character, not your deficiency. In these moments, it's important to believe that I am not defined by someone's inability to love me faithfully. I am still worthy of love, covenant love. It's a deep truth. Then it's important to grieve what was lost. And when you've been betrayed, you're not just grieving the person, the loss of that relationship. It goes deeper than that. You're actually grieving the future that you imagined, promises that were made, and the trust that was broken. And also, very importantly, is it's important to actually grieve the version of yourself that where you really loved with all your heart and you loved without fear. You loved this person wholeheartedly, never imagining that they would betray you. That is what you're grieving. So it's important to allow yourself to mourn that loss. Tears can cleanse the soul. Sometimes tears are very necessary. They make space for new hope. So I just quickly want to recap what I've shared with you. It's important to firstly acknowledge your pain fully. Don't suppress it. Don't push it down. Don't downplay it. And to even write it down. Then secondly, to surrender it, hold it up. And thirdly, remember that someone's inability to love you fully and faithfully is not a reflection on you. You are enough. And fourthly, allow yourself to mourn the loss of promises made, the trust broken, and also grieving the loss of trust in yourself for loving so wholeheartedly without fear. Sometimes it's actually a forgiveness of yourself that is necessary. And then lastly, here comes the hope, and it's forgiveness. I didn't like this word for a long time, but through my betrayal experiences, I had to have many discussions with God about this, and I got a new understanding of forgiveness, and forgiveness brought me hope. Forgiveness is a process, it's not a moment. And choosing to forgive that person or those people that betrayed you is the start. The choice to forgive is important. Don't wait for the feeling because the feeling usually takes a while to come. Choosing to forgive doesn't excuse what happened, it releases you from the power of bitterness. When you choose to forgive, you're actually choosing to let go of your need for revenge. You're letting go of your need to see that person punished. And here's the thing, if you don't let go of this need for revenge, you could wait forever to see this person be punished, and you'd be wasting your time for nothing. That was my big aha moment. My experience has been that if I choose to forgive, it prevents my heart from hardening and changing me into a bitter person. Choosing to forgive that person releases me to live my life fully without being concerned about what was done to me. And one of the prayers I pray when I have felt the pain of rejection, when I've felt the pain of betrayal, I just pray, God, I release this person into your justice and your mercy. Heal what they broke in me and guard my heart from hardening. And if you don't believe in God or if prayer isn't part of your routine, you can find a way of just releasing this as well so that you can have that hope that you can fully be you. And the reason that I can do that and, you know, found this hope in forgiveness is because another verse that means a lot to me is Genesis 50, verse 20. And that says, what was meant for evil, God used for good. So by forgiving the person that betrayed me, I'm not letting that person define me, but I'm actually choosing to let that painful experience refine me and reveal in me more of who I really am. And without that person. So who am I really without that person? And that refines me. And I can live free to actually find me and to be me.